Our first presentation tonight is entitled Burning Questions, Assessing the Ethics of Modern Warfare and Incendiary Weapons. Please welcome Justin Beersingh.
Another evening in Tokyo on March 9th, 1945. An evening filled with the gentle yet familiar hum of everyday life. Yoshiko Hashimoto found herself wrapped in the comforts of her home, surrounded by the warmth of family and everyday life. However, in one moment, 450 American B-29 bombers descended and dropped 1,000 tons of napalm into the night over Tokyo. And in one moment, the familiar metropolis dissolved into an apocalyptic state. From this example, in the cruelty of war, the nature of these, in one moment, the familiar metropolis dissolved into an apocalyptic state. We see from this, by exploring the physical, psychological, and moral implications of napalm, we confront truths which speak to the core of our shared humanity. As they speak to the core of our shared humanity, that napalm is an indiscriminate weapon. But first, we must move to just war theory, a moral code created in the 4th century to ensure that wars are fought for the right reasons, in the right way, and to ensure that civilians and enemies are treated in a humane fashion. What I aim to argue is that napalm is in violation of not one, but two of just war theory's pillars, being justice in war and justice post-war. And through this, I argue and urge that all incendiary weapons be removed from the U.S. military's arsenal. I argue as my first point that napalm is an indiscriminate weapon. An example of this occurred in 1942, and it's testified by Yoshiko Hashimoto, a survivor of napalm's atrocities. She recalls survivors pushing and shoving to escape the firestorm, which engulfed her home, killing her family, leaving only her 2 children surviving. Napalm as a weapon is unique is because it only consists of polystyrene and gasoline, which allows it to easily cling to surfaces and burn ferociously, reaching temperatures up to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. We see from this previous example that it's a common misconception to think of war as always on a battlefield away from everyone, as it was during the medieval era or the American Revolution. In a modern battlefield, as you will see more, wars now reach backyards, community centers, and parks. And consequently, I stand by my claim that napalm simply has no place in a modern context. Moving to my second point I argue that napalm is a disproportionate weapon due to its environmental impacts as well as its irreversible injuries inflicted upon its victims. The most notorious example of this took place during the Vietnam War. By 1966, 4,500 tons of napalm were dropped per month in Vietnam. It is even reported that North Vietnamese forces and U.S. forces dropped napalm bombs in order to purposely destroy, not only burn civilians, but generationally destroy ecosystems. Because of this, from this example, moving to napalm's physical side, Kim Pham, better known as Napalm Girl, in 1972, was napalmed by South Vietnamese forces, and the now famous photograph captures her running out of her burning village, with her skin scorched by unquenchable flames. We see from this example, and not only her testimony, but millions of others, that napalm has always displayed barbaric characteristics, and the suffering inflicted exceeds what is necessary to neutralize a threat. Bringing me to my final point. In every instance of napalm's use, from its conception in World War II to its most recent use in the War on Terror, has always come with controversy surrounding its necessity. As modern testimony, Colonel Randolph Alls, commander of Marine Air Group 11, shares a story with the San Diego Tribune that his squadron napalmed 9 two-bridge approaches used by Iraqi troops heading into Baghdad. Sadly but expectedly, civilian casualties were later reported. This shows that napalm is a weapon that is unable to accurately target enemy positions. America has one of the largest and most capable arsenals in our world today, consisting of weapons like precision-guided warheads and drones and other tools that can not only neutralize a threat with minimizing collateral damage, but also not burn civilians alive by doing so, and generationally destroying ecosystems. This shows napalm's obsolescence, overall lack of necessity, and disproportionality. As a point of contention, the debate between a weapon's necessity and its practicality often center around two things, being its principle versus its practicality within a combat situation. Great pressures fall on commanders fighting in asymmetrical warfare to match the enemy's truthfulness, but resorting to tactics such as indiscriminate weapons like napalm carry great risks. By this, I mean the erosion of moral legitimacy, the alienation of civilian populations, and an overall damage to reputation caused by using these weapons, as seen in the Middle East and in Vietnam. We see from its most recent use in the War on Terror to its first use in World War II, napalm has always displayed barbaric characteristics, destroying all things in its path. In closing, Yoshiko Hashimoto's testimony brings homicide, which is not often considered in war, being the human cost of weapons like napalm. Let not only her testimony, but the testimony of millions of other napalm survivors and victims serve as a call to action to encourage a higher standard of warfare by removing this weapon of the past, napalm. Thank you.